Hey y'all. Wow, this has been a pretty wild couple of days, huh? Hey. My name is Noelani. I now go by the name Monroe. So I am based in Melbourne, Australia. A lot of you have probably seen footage of me come up from 10 years ago, actually, when this came out. So I was 21, yes. Okay, where do I start? If you also have any questions, do put it down. I will answer during this live stream. Also, bear with me. I've never done a live stream before, so I'm just like diving into the deep end. Okay, so a little bit about me. For those who've been asking my heritage, I am very mixed. So my father is African American, and my mother is half Fijian Chinese and half Tongan. And I was born and raised here in Australia. Oh, okay. I see. Is it Yolanda? Hey, girl. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, sis. So I'm very culturally diverse, I guess. So I've always been one of those people that's never kind of fit in any cultural group, because sometimes people will be like, oh, you're Australian, you act white for a black girl, which unfortunately it's like, I don't get that. Or Polynesian, and I don't stereotypically look Polynesian. So for anyone that is culturally diverse like me in terms of heritage and feels lost and doesn't know where they fit in, I'm out here still doing my thing, and you can do it too. And just, there are people that, I believe in you. Okay, so for my mothering side, yes. So essentially, being raised in Australia, I will be honest, Australia is a little bit of, without sugarcoating, has a lot of systemic racist issues, particularly, for instance, Australia. It was an invasion. The British invaded Australia and never signed a treaty with its native people, and still the government refused to sign a treaty with the people. So the systemic racism is a big thing. When I modelled for The Face, I was probably one of 20 black girls that was in the music, in the fashion scene in Australia. However, I was one of those that wasn't signed. So with me, I approached every agency possibly. Like you can think of Vivian's, Chadwick's. I even went to Ford in the States, but they wanted me to live in the States, and I hadn't sorted out my citizenship yet with my dad. So I went everywhere, June Daly Watkins, and I was rejected by every single agency. And the excuse was, we already have a girl that looks like you. Doesn't look like me, just because they were black. So I'm talking, these modeling agencies at the time would have about 200 models on their books, and stereotypically they were blonde hair, blue eyes, and one or two tops black girls. So I was rejected from every agency. I was flying out of pocket. When I used to work in a cafe, I'd save up and I'd fly to Sydney and I'd fly to Melbourne trying to get signed, because no one in Brisbane wanted to sign me because they had that one token black girl on their book of 200. So I worked through channels such as like Model Mayhem to get booked, and I actually started, I guess, building rapport locally in Brisbane. Did a bit of work in Melbourne to start doing some modeling shoots and gigs. The reason why I got into modeling is because, I'll be honest, I was insecure. When you're told that you aren't beautiful because you're black, when me growing up in Queensland, I was always the token black girl in my friends group. I probably had one other black friend in Brisbane growing up, because there just weren't many of us. So it definitely was an insecurity thing, and pretty much just a big FU to the system that, you know, I should be proud of the way I look. I am black and proud, and I am fucking gifted. So I put myself out there. I was reaching out to photographers, designers, you name it. So I was working really hard for 4 years trying to build a reputation, to the point where designers didn't want to actually go through the agencies because I wasn't with them. And I would literally train from like an hour, 2 hours, catch a bus 3 hours to get to shoots. So I was like working hard to make it known I'm here and I should be seen. And so, yeah, essentially I started working on for Gold Coast Fashion Week. Got to do that for 2 years, who gave me a great opportunity to do that. As typical, I was always the unsigned model compared to models, and I was able to book jobs that signed models were. Still, despite that, no one wanted to sign me. And then the year prior to the face, I entered a competition. And I think it was through Model Mayhem, actually. And the competition was to join a photo shoot to be on a cover of a magazine with Naomi Campbell. So I was like hustling. I posted my photos up. I submitted, and it was by voting. So through voting, I managed to get into the top 100. And I just became number 100. So I was very lucky to do that. Then the following year, I got cast into the face. So, all right, here we go. Brittany Johnson is my best friend in the whole damn world. I met her at Gold Coast Fashion Week a year prior, actually, and we just bonded. Like, we went into the auditions. We went to separate auditions, but same city, and we were like, yeah, we're Team Top Deck, you know, we're the best, you know, you got to vote us. Like, she's my Kate Moss, I'm her Naomi Campbell, and we're like best friends, and we met modeling. And so we both entered, and we got in. So that was pretty damn dope. During this time, I was also, it was good news, essentially. Especially like during that time was a bit of a hard time. I was moving to Melbourne to seek modelling opportunities from Brisbane. And so I was packing to move at the same time. And then I also lost my grandmother around that time. And so packed everything the night before we were to film the face. So I was up to like 3 a.m. After that, woke up early to catch my flight to Sydney, where they were filming it. They were filming at Carriage Works, where they do a lot of the Australian Fashion Week shows. And Lord, I tell ya, after checking in the first day, we got to meet all the models and the girls. Our phones were taken away. And I noticed that all of the girls except I think 3 of us were signed. We're completely signed. So, you know, me being unsigned, you'd think I'd be like an underdog, right? Yeah. So the next day we had to wake up, and this is the day of shooting. We woke up early. In the rooms, there was really no breakfast except like a piece of fruit, a banana, and an apple. What? Okay. So I didn't get to eat breakfast. Went to set. So this is really early in the morning. It's also at the tail end of our winter. It's really, really damn cold. And I'm from Queensland. Black people do not belong in cold damn weather. So I was freezing my ass off. And you saw my outfit that I was wearing. I wasn't allowed to have a jacket, so we were made to stand outside in the elements for hours. And I'm telling you, hours, high heels in what we were wearing. And so this is when we were doing the shoot, when we're walking down outside to introduce into the episode. If you've watched it on YouTube, which is behind me, first episode. And So we were there for hours because I didn't eat breakfast because there wasn't a sustainable breakfast for me to eat. And essentially, they didn't think models ate, but I'm black, I eat. So I actually almost fainted outside on set. I had to have producers actually, my best friend had to run to go get a producer to be like, hey, Lani's outside. She has like almost fainted. She's feeling like really nauseous, really sick. And it took them about like an hour for them to go and retrieve a damn Snickers bar, a fun-sized one, and that's all I was given to eat to keep my energy up after standing out in the freezing cold with no blanket, no jumpers allowed, nothing, waiting to get into the building. When we got into the building, it was still damn freezing in there. Now, I'm talking Carriage Works is a full-on concrete hardware store. Warehouse. It was, I think it was used for like a wool shed or something back in the day. And it was freezing, absolutely freezing in there. We weren't given blankets, we weren't given heaters, absolutely nothing. We were stuck freezing in a little marquee they had set up in the warehouse for a couple hours. We didn't know what was happening. We constantly were asking, hey, to the producers, what the hell's happening? The producers pretty much told us, oh, we're waiting. And what was implied without saying it was we were waiting for Naomi to show up on set, or the rest of the models to show up on set. So we were in this freezing tundra waiting. Eventually, we were directed a couple hours later after that. So this is probably like 6 hours that's gone by. And then finally, it's time for us to, oh yes, wow, did they forget you're human? It's Australia. We don't have a treaty with our native people. It is damn racist. I will be honest. We've definitely got tragic systemic racial problems here. No, they did not see me as human. They saw me as a black woman that they can continue perpetuating a stereotype in Australia that black people aren't enough, essentially. And it's sad. So going back, we ended up getting lunch. The lunch was damn cold. It was literally like those long broccolini things, like almonds on it, some bland as like shriveled up cheap cuts of meat. And it was ice cold. Like it wasn't even like edible. Especially when you've been waiting for ages. So I couldn't actually like eat it. So I've gone all day on just a small fun-sized Snickers after almost fainting. And then it was time to go in after this lunch break and go and see the introduction of the judges. So Nicole Tutufo, Cheyenne Tozu, who might add is actually really amazing. She did kind of like, in her own way, reach out to me after the show. She is like that woman, heart of gold, and Naomi. So they came out, they did a few run-throughs of us being like, hey, how you doing? Where are the girls? And that's when Naomi delivered the first challenge. So the first challenge was, when you get your started as a model, you only have your one shot and one chance to do this. Might I add, by the way, because I signed a contract, people asked, have I seen the show? Yes, I had seen the show. However, when I signed the contract, I was not allowed to watch the show. So I wasn't allowed to watch and recap what the challenges were. So I kind of just went with an open mind of what it was. And because we had seen the American and the UK versions, I just kind of assumed, okay, they'll either do the same thing or they won't. They'll go a complete different direction. They did the same thing, original. And so we were told the challenge, you got one shot. Honestly, the reality is when you're a model, you don't have one shot. If anything, you want to try get a good shot within like 5 takes if you're really good. If you're up and coming and new, they give you a bit more of a longer chance. So they choose from that. And so they delivered it, and in my head, I'm like, dope, that's a test shoot. So a test shoot is usually just, you know, doing your angles and then like the whole, very basic, because they just want to see you as a complete non-human blank. So that was my goal. My chosen pose was actually this. This is what I chose. During waiting for the filming, it says in here that let's see the first girl. That's actually incorrect. I was not the first girl. I was like probably the 5th or 6th girl to be seen. And so that pic was so funny. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you. I've healed. So yeah, I totally see for what it is. And we're all humans. And when people fail spectacularly, it's, you know, we laugh. So we do. So that's totally fine. And I can laugh about it today, 10 years later. Why did I do the face? Okay, girl, this is where I'm coming up to. So we're waiting for hours to finally get to my go. I was like the 5th. So my friend Brittany and I, we were so damn bored. There was a mirror there and we're just having fun. Like, we're just like messing around and we're just like, you know, like twerking and stuff. And then we're like, okay, what are we going to do for our faces? What are we going to do for our face? And then I was like, I'm going to do this. And then Brittany and I were just like being like real dramatic in the mirrors because we were bored. We'd been there for hours waiting for our turn. So, yep, then did it again. Thank you. And so we were just having fun. And then when it was my turn, literally I was a couple steps off of the stage. I probably had like 3 steps. A producer runs up to me, grabs me by the arm and is like, hey, we need something exciting. Do what you and Brittany were doing and fooling around with backstage. So my plan that I had in my head completely goes out the window because I think that these producers, especially as a black woman in the Australian fashion industry, which was rare at the time, and 20 of us countrywide, I thought that they would have my best interest in heart. They fucking set me up. Anyway, so came up to me, because I'm an eccentric person, so that's just me in general, and I always feel that people always have the best intentions. I was naive. That's just the reality. And especially on this show, especially when you've got black women, you hope that for us being so rare, you'd want to uplift us and show us in the best light. But no, hey, we need something exciting right now. Can, you know, do what you and Brittany were doing in the back when we were like fucking like joking around. Anyway, so I went up on stage after getting away from the producer. This is in my head. I'm just like, oh shit, like, is my face like is strong enough? I'm looking at all these girls who are signed and I'm unsigned. And I dance race. It actually is a race thing. And if you understand Australia, and I'll repeat it again, Australia is a very racist country. During COVID, they plastered immigrant buildings that were African on front pages as causes to bring COVID into Australia and to have things spread like wildfire. That's how racist Australia is. And we don't have a treaty with our First Nations people. So I go up and I finally go. I'm just like, you know, tired, have no energy, living on a fun-size Snickers. I do my damn walk because I self-taught that walk I had. No, I'm not the only black girl. No, I'm not. I'm not the only black girl. However, because I'm an eccentric personality compared, to the others. That's why I reckon I was targeted. And so did my walk, and then I get there. Naomi's like, okay, you ready? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, I'm so ready. And you guys saw the episode, and I go there and I'm just like, all right, especially for myself as a musician, I am on. I'm switched on. So I also kind of suffer from BPD, so I can switch my personality when I need to as a defense mechanism in flight mode. So if someone's like, go, then I'm like, boom, duh, 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 you know, all that stuff. And so that's literally what I did, because they're like, we need that fucking energy and we need something exciting. So I essentially just went too hard. I would honestly say that. I did not think the photo, because we didn't get to see the photo. We didn't get to see it until it was aired. So obviously couldn't critique myself. So I did it, and I'll recreate it just for this once, a little bit softer. But essentially I was meant to go like this, and I went like this. That's what I thought my face was, at least this. It wasn't. It was really harsh, overthought, completely like anxiety, fucking stressing me, getting on me. I overthought it. And that's just the reality. And that's completely fine. At the same time, I was like, all right, I've got the runway challenge. All right, if I can, so telling them bringing energy is being racist. So I was the only person this happened. The producers did not approach any other girls, from what I was told from some of the other models that are in there. They only did that to me. That immediately is, I would say, a disadvantage and manipulation. Because why don't they do that to every other girl before you go on? But they did to me. So, you know, that definitely is unfair. And, you know, anyway, so... I had the runway challenge, and I was paired up with my best friend Brittany, and we came to do the runway challenge, and I walked down and I was like serving all that stuff. I won the runway challenge. Hey, I won that shit. So I was thinking, okay, maybe like I messed up on the shot. Maybe the judges can just see, all right, there's some potential there. They've seen my casting videos when I auditioned, that I've had to do everything myself because no one wanted to sign me, because everyone had one black girl in a book of 200 white girls at every agency. And they didn't, despite winning the runway challenge, and the runway challenge for me winning was not aired. That absolutely broke me, because I worked really hard, really damn hard, just to finally be seen. Brittany, still your bestie. Yes. She really is. Sorry. I didn't think this would happen, so... Sorry, I'm crying, y'all. Brittany is still my best friend, my ultimate best friend. Every time I'm up in Queensland, I go catch up with her. And she did comment saying, hey, I'm so proud of you. So thanks, Britt. I love you. Anyway, so when it aired, the repercussions of it were fucking hard. And for anyone that suffers from mental illness, I really feel for you. And anyone that is going through their own challenges, we're human, and that is life. So all this work I'd done for years to finally have a chance to be seen and pretty much be sabotaged on on Australian TV, especially when there was only 20 of us black girls at the time. All opportunities for contracts, designers that I had a rapport with, I'd worked for free, some of them that are now very established that I worked for free. They lost contact, every opportunity completely dried up. I lost friends. I lost any chance for me to model. At the same time, I also completely had a breakdown because I was completely ostracized from something that I worked so hard just to feel like I belong. And just when you think, oh, finally, people accepting me, boom, gone. So I started becoming dependent on self-regulating with marijuana because I was having full-blown anxiety attacks, nightmares, waking up. And my anxiety attacks and my dependence on weed became so heavy that I actually messed up the imbalance of my hormones. At the same time, I also got an eating disorder during this time. And I went into psychosis. I unfortunately had to be hospitalized with ovarian cysts just to, for a couple weeks, because that's how much I was just fucked, like mentally. I had a breakup. I was still grieving my grandmother's death, who passed a month prior to the show. I moved to Melbourne, was in a new city, no friends, nothing. And so I had to start again, essentially. And it's okay to start again for those who may have, who feel like they've had something so big that was important to them blow up. It's okay to start again. So because my mental health was so bad, I struggled to work. I will completely desensitize myself. I actually couldn't touch things. I couldn't feel things. I couldn't taste things. I'm not sure if you've ever been in a very mental dark moment where everywhere you look, people just look like trolls or like evil. That saying, hell on earth, that's what it was. And I couldn't even recognize myself in the mirror because I was, drinking excessively, and smoking weed so much, just to regulate my anxiety, to the point I was dependent on it. And because I couldn't work, I realized I had to busk. So for those who don't know what busking is, it's essentially when you go out onto the street and you sing. And so for those who are asking about how the manipulation and all this stuff, even though I'm live, I'm going to post this up just for anyone who wants to go back and watch. For me to make ends meet, I busked. During this time, I was also homeless, so I was couch surfing with friends, and busking was the only thing keeping some form of roof over my head before I was able to get all settled. Just because of my mental health was I was completely paralytic, and so I would busk. And I would have a lot of people that would tip me, and so I eventually saved up to be able to move somewhere else. It also kind of made me realize that my natural gift, despite I need to get a vocal coach or just someone that can mentor me, was singing. So I survived on, I guess, a natural talent that I never utilized enough. So then after that, I started falling. Are you asking for sympathy to further your career? No, I'm not. And honestly, I'm just making the best of a situation that happened 10 years ago. Because it happened in Australia, I thought, the world's never going to hear about it, but thus the TikTok and the internet blesses us again. So it's come back 10 years later. And so I'm in a healed place where I can actually talk about it and, and hopefully, share some love to everyone who may have gone through their own version of the face, not in a mobbing sense, but just hypothetically, if you've gone to a mountain and just crashed spectacularly. So I hope this kind of encourages you. From busking, I eventually started falling into the music scene, got into the improvised jazz scene, and started making music, and then started meeting the right people at the right time. So for what I do now, I am a R&B artist. R&B is not necessarily, or black music in general is not a big thing here in Australia yet. We're still considered underground, not really mainstream. It's very, very heavy whitewashed. So essentially for me, as I'm wanting to empower black people and BIPOC people within the music industry, I work for who's the blonde woman you're practicing your face before the judges? That is my best friend, Brittany. We went on the show together. And she's been modeling for a long time, modeled in Asia and all that stuff. And we met at a fashion week where I was the only girl unsigned and everyone else was signed. So I got to model with, people that were big deal. So she kind of just saw, a energy with me. And we've been inseparable best mates since. So just to bring into what I do now, I work for an incredible company called One of One, www.oneofone.com.au. Essentially, we are a non-for-profit charity that empowers women and gender non-conforming people within the music industry. Personally, I am using that platform to highlight systemic racial issues that happen with BIPOC women in the music industry. So if you go onto that website, you will see many interviews that I've done interviewing people in and behind the scenes in the industry. I also do a bit of work with Black Music Alliance Australia. We are about empowering the black music scene here in Australia. So that is simply what I do now, besides doing my own music. Simply because, hey, Masbo, we've got to hang this week. Yes, I am coming to Auckland on Thursday for a week to go do some writing with an incredible label over there called Big Pop. So I'm very excited for that. I've never done a writer's camp. I met them at Big Sound, which is a music conference, and they invited me. So I am so excited to see you, Maz. For those who don't know Maz, he's known as the rap scientist. You might have seen him on TikTok. He's kind of like big deal. He breaks down the mathematics of rap. Anyway, so that's what I do. I advocate for black people. I have done a lot of work and healing, and that's why I can laugh at this situation and kind of just go with it, because there's so many people around the world that have kind of gone through their own version of this and just give up. And unfortunately, with someone that has, thanks Tando, incredible artist, by the way, you should check her stuff. And, you know, as someone that has African American blood in me and Polynesian blood, and we were colonized as well, you know, we do not give up. We persevere. People just hit us and beat us down every time. And honestly, my ancestors and what's in my blood will not let me fail in whatever that definition may be, but they won't let me give up. And if I can uplift other people and bring awareness, especially to those that are through their healing journey, those that have fallen from spectacular heights, my heart and my love goes out to you. Suck it up and keep moving. That's what I'm doing, sis. Yeah, you should be honoured and privileged that I'm letting you on my story, but it's not about those who are going to hit me down. It's for those that really need to see people that fall down, that they can get up and become stronger mentally, spiritually, physically. And if anything, it's brought me closer to God, and that's pretty much who brought me out. So to have this out, it's not something I'm ashamed of. I never spoke about it because I didn't think it would ever be seen by eyes again. But yeah, here we are. Here you are. I just want to say thank you so much for the love, the support, for those that, you know, laughed at a very, very painful time, which I've healed from. I hope I at least gave you some type of joy to take, from whatever's going in your lives personally. But yes, anyway, that's the story. All the comments have been so overwhelming. My heart. I've always kind of assumed that maybe it would pop up. But dead on 10 years, right? And yeah, just shows how far I've come since. But we just want to know why you made that face. You should seek therapy though. I did many years of therapy. Yeah. And that's the thing about therapy, which I don't do anymore. It's just damn expensive, let's be real, especially in this economy. But healing is a long-term journey, and it's not something that's going to happen in 10 years. I could be 20 years down the track, and sometimes this moment may make me shudder, but it's not the person I am today. And I've learnt so much since. But yeah, I wanted to say thank you so much. Don't want to get emotional, but that's my story. For those who are just signing in now, I will share it and upload it. I got Obamacare. I live in Australia, mate. So yeah, Obama doesn't help us over here, or didn't help us over here. And repercussions. Am I nervous? I'm a little bit, honestly, anxious as a repercussion of the trauma I went through at that time, that I now have an actual anxiety disorder. So if you've listened to someone actually pointed it out in some of my music performances, you can hear it. You can definitely hear it in my voice. So I struggle to breathe at times, even talking, when I was smoking a lot of weed, actually in 2016, because I was smoking so much to self-medicate, my vocal cords actually, I couldn't push air or couldn't talk. I actually went completely mute. So I had to spend 2 years going to get vocal therapy and learn how to talk again. And I actually had what they call a polypoid fringe on my vocal cords because I was smoking weed so much. and it singed the edges of my vocal cords. So I had to get like a steroid injection in my vocal cords to bring that down, and then do a lot of vocal therapy, training, all that stuff. Unfortunately, my vocal cords are now good. They're in a good place. Unfortunately, the anxiety is still there. And because compared, like, just like modeling, I'm so passionate about, being a musician and a singer, it does come through. But I only, get your vocals checked. Honestly, I get them checked once a year, just to make sure they're healthy and hydrated. And smoke too much. Stop smoking, girl. I tell you though, I kind of do miss a sneaky joint, but I don't smoke weed anymore. So yeah, I'm chasing a new dream, and hopefully the anxiety side will eventually subside, and I can pursue something that was actually a dream from when I was 3, before modeling even was a thing. It was honestly watching Michael Jackson. It was my first ever concert at the World History Tour, and me dancing like Naomi Campbell, like Keep It in the Closet, like in the Michael Jackson video. So yeah, I'm actually falling spectacularly in modeling. Has actually had another blessing in disguise. It feels like God has pivoted me to what my true calling is, and that is to share love and inspire others, especially who look like me in the Australian music industry. Yes, so that's you seem like a different person. I am a different person. I was very naive. When you're in your I was 21, so you're during the age where you don't really know who you are, and you're kind of just like, yay, I've moved out of home and I'm just going to go and have a great time and, just see how the chips fall. And, I guess now I'm a bit more weary and, I want to say, calculated on people who I keep around me, people that I admire in the industry, so I can lift them up and have their voices shared. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot I want to do. Advocacy, and has always been a big thing for me, and to fall into it because of what happened. If that didn't happen, I probably would not be doing what is my true calling, to sing and to advocate for minorities here in Australia who are still fighting to be heard. Also, by the way, one plug I got to do. And it's not like you can listen to my music. That's pretty cool. But no, actually, seriously, I am doing, with the charity I work with that empowers women in the music industry in Australia, we are pitching a conversation to have at South by Southwest Sydney. South by Southwest Sydney is in its 2nd year, and essentially the conversation is Journey to Allyship, navigating intersectionality of feminism within the music industry. And we need these votes so we can actually have a tough, overdue conversation regarding diversity in the music industry in Australia. So if you go to the South by Southwest Sydney website, or I'll probably put the link in my stories, I would really appreciate you guys voting to have that chat, because there are so many people that are minorities in the industry that truly need to have the hard discussions be brought to the forefront of the music industry. So I'll share the link. Please vote for this. It's a very overdue conversation. And I hope it can empower anyone who has gone through what I've gone through, in a sense of a mental, spiritual journey, but just empower for you to follow your dreams. Just because you don't make it at 21, which, that was a hard thing for me to go over. Oh, I didn't make it. I should have made it. No, if you don't make it at 21, you can make it at 31, you can make it at 41, you can make it at 51. There's always time. Given the complications you've had with your vocal cords, are you seeing a vocal coach now? I'm actually saving to see to find one. It's actually quite hard to find contemporary vocal coaches in Australia. Particularly, they are musical theatre coaches. So what I'm wanting to do, musical theatre is okay, but it's also a little bit different. So I want someone that can actually understand what I'm trying to do in my genre or in my music abilities, and have someone foster that. So hopefully I can start doing that soon. And I'm out there hustling. So, never know. But if you are a vocal coach, that is a contemporary music coach, particularly in Melbourne, Australia, where I am based, please reach out. But anyway, I'm going to go because it is 11 past 10 p.m. in beautiful Melbourne, Sydney. And I am exhausted. I've been seeing all your comments. I'm laughing with you. And I've seen a lot of love and support. And I'm just so grateful. So eternally grateful. And I truly believe God works in mysterious ways. Maybe this is just part of my plan. And everyone has a plan for them, and maybe this is just my one, and it probably had to get diverted in a different way because I had to learn things that I would not have known back then. But anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you. Hello from South Africa. Hello from Australia. I am going to sleep because I am very emotionally and physically exhausted. Do I wear glasses? Yes, I do wear glasses. Yeah, I do. I used to work in hospitality, so working late at night till like 3 a.m. in the dark messes up your eyes big time. Love from Trinidad and Tobago. Hey, what's up? Anyway, okay, now I gotta go because I can just keep, and I need sleep. But thank you so much for listening to my story and understanding, for those that understand my journey. Thank you so much. And sending so much love and light to you. For those that have just missed this live stream, I will post it on my page so you can go back and look over it again. But do this again. Here from Atlanta. I want to come to Atlanta. I kid you not. My dad actually lives in Seaside, California. For anyone that's in the Bay Area, he has a jazz club called Deja Blue. So if you're ever there, definitely go check. And his name's Daryl, and just say, hey, your daughter Noelani says hi. I do want to come to Atlanta. I've heard that's the place for, R&B music and like food. I want some damn good food. I'm actually thinking about coming to LA next year just to like network and meet people. And this is something that was planned well before all of this blew up. But yeah, I'm coming stateside, baby. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And I hope you can follow my journey, and I'll be, y'all. Everyone tells me Chi-Town got the best food. I tell you, there is no black food here. I just want some good ass soul food. I'm here making like jerk chicken and stuff on my own. I can barely find okra. Like, I need to be fed. I want some like soul cooking, ancestor cooking. So I am so hyped to come over your way. Anyway, okay, this is my final goodbye. Thank you so much. Much love to anyone going on their mental health journey. I wish you so much love and light. New Orleans, yo, you're gonna have me like doing like a damn tour around the States, man. I'm gonna be so broke. All right, anyway, good night. Thank you. So, Brad, can everyone stop telling me where your food and what country I gotta come to? Yo, I'm just like, anything that talks about food, I am like there. I am 100% there. And I need to go back to the motherland. I do want to trace down my African-American roots, But, in time, in God's time, not my time, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. And you better make it happen. I'm gonna keep sharing my story with you. Anyway, stay empowered, love and light, and God bless so much. And thank you so much all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Noelani / Monroe now. But yay, whatever you want to call me. Thank you so much. And I hope you have such a beautiful day, night, whatever time zone you're in. Ciao. Thank you.